Thanks for tuning in to this edition of Positively Montana. I'm Hallie Schwinnard. Each week we travel the state looking for stories that inspire, people helping others and doing good in our communities. Most kids go through a phase in their life where they dream of digging up dinosaurs with real paleontologists. That dream recently came true for one local boy.
Most kids dream of digging up dinosaur bones with real paleontologists at some point in their life. But for kids like Arrow, he turned his dream into a reality.
I'm digging up dinosaur bones.
Most kids have hobbies and passions that change by the month, even the day.
9, yep, that's a piece of the neck.
But 9-year-old Arrow Solomonson isn't like most kids.
As other interests have kind of come and gone, like dinosaurs and paleontology has been very consistent.
Consistency for a young boy who hasn't had much of that over the last several years, ever since his life was suddenly turned upside down.
Yeah, he was diagnosed with leukemia at 5.5, and with leukemia they treat them for about 3.5 years.
Arrow just finished treatments this last July.
July 6th, and he just hit his 1 year of remission.
A difficult journey made just a tiny bit easier thanks to a love of dinosaurs.
I just kind of liked them since I was a kid.
And that's what makes this experience so special. The Make-A-Wish program heard about Arrow and decided to make his dream of participating in a dino dig come true, flying him from his home in California to Montana, where he's now participating in this week-long adventure just outside Warren, along the Montana-Wyoming state line.
We stay in a beautiful camp on the side of the Beartooth. In the day, we come out to this beautiful place and dig up dinosaurs and talk about dinosaurs and science all day.
For Jason Shine, the executive director of Elevation Science, working with out-of-towners is his favorite part of the job. But he especially loves it when he meets someone as passionate about dinosaurs as him.
But every once in a while, we get a special person like Arrow. And it's so much fun. They're so excited, they're really into it, and it really feels like we're making some really memorable experiences for them.
And I found some shell imprints, devil's toenail. Devil's toenail is like an oyster, kind of. Usually they're that big, but we found a big one this big.
Big discoveries and a big dream come true for a little boy long in need of something like this to celebrate and enjoy. In Billings, Matt Carmack, MTN News.
The community of Conrad is about to get a little cleaner, and it's thanks to a nonprofit that has been helping people with developmental disabilities for almost half a century.
Since 1977, Quality Life Concepts has been dedicated to providing specialized services and support to individuals and families with developmental needs. That spirit of service continued Wednesday with the grand opening of the organization's laundromat in Conrad.
There you go.
It's a sign of community in Conrad.
QLC Suds and Duds.
Soon after the sign was unveiled for the town's new laundromat, a ribbon cutting was held to open the facility. The idea was the brainchild of Quality Life Concepts Community and Family Services Director Lynn Morley. Her vision? A public laundromat for a town without one, and providing a purpose for the organization's clients in Conrad.
And so Lynn saw this as an opportunity for not only for our clients to get back to work after having closed our secondhand store, but for also have the opportunity to provide a service for Conrad that was really needed.
The result is QLC Suds and Duds, featuring 4 brand new coinless operated stackable washer and dryer units, as well as an oversized washer and dryer.
You can have a prepaid card, or you can use your own debit card, or you can do the QR code and scan.
And with customers having the ability to use a key fob, the facility will be open 24 hours. While it serves a community need for the nearly 12 QLC Conrad area clients who might not be able to otherwise hold down a job, it's more than just a business.
They learn skills, everything from the actual skills of the job itself, as well as some soft skills, interacting with people. Sometimes that's one of the hardest things to do is interacting with others. So this gives them an opportunity to do that.
These clients oftentimes are the hidden people in communities. And I think this is a place that the people of Conrad can realize we have this facility and this service to people who come to our community and who live here. It's a win-win.
The organization's long-term goals include expanding the building to add more machines and a wash-dry fold service. In Conrad, Tim McGonigal, MTN News.
A Montana high school student is taking to the skies, holding a fundraiser for scholarship for aviation students at Helena College.
Joshua Schwerin is taking off Wednesday on a 10-day journey he hopes will land him in the record books. At 17, his goal is to become the youngest pilot in command to circumnavigate the U.S. by air. He's doing this to raise awareness of the need for aviation mechanics and to help Montana high school graduates pursue an education in the field.
There's a huge shortage and huge need for aviation mechanics, and I think a lot of people think about becoming a mechanic or an engineer or a pilot, but aviation mechanics are just kind of overlooked, and there's a huge need and huge benefit to actually becoming an aviation mechanic.
Schwerin is trying to raise $100,000 to fund 9 full tuition scholarships for Helena College's Aviation Maintenance Technology program.
Helena College is the only FAA certified aviation mechanic program in the state, and so that's why I picked it, to kind of raise awareness and raise support for the program.
After attaining his pilot's license 2 weeks ago, he plans to fly north to the Canadian border and take off clockwise around the U.S. His mother will be joining him as he's still too young to make some adult purchases.
My mom will be flying with me. I'm pilot in command, and so my mom will just be there as a safety pilot, and since I can't get my own hotel reservation, she'll help with things like that.
They will take off and land at various airports throughout the U.S. near the border, where they will continue on the journey from the same point outside of the country. Schwerin has a passion for engineering and aviation, a passion he hopes others will find an interest in, as there are plenty of job opportunities for aviation mechanics. This growing field of aircraft and avionics equipment mechanics and technicians is projected to have nearly 13,000 openings each year, on average from 2022 through 2032.
The projected employment openings over the next decade are just staggering. Tens of thousands of employee shortages across our country. So it's really important that we encourage more folks to go into this industry.
Currently, enrollment is full at Helena College's aviation program, and they are starting a wait list.
Reporting in Helena, Tom Buchanan, MTN News.
The Backpackers Ferry is an Indigenous-owned tourism company in East Glacier, and they're on a mission to incorporate cultural understanding of their ancestral lands through tourism.
Backpackers Ferry, a Blackfeet-owned tourism and transportation company, offers an immersive perspective through Glacier National Park, showcasing the park's breathtaking landscapes and rich Indigenous heritage.
Oh man, so being able to share our experiences and share our stories is what really is at the heart of Backpackers Ferry.
Founded in response to the growing demand for sustainable and culturally immersive tourism options, Backpackers Ferry transports visitors to some of the park's most iconic destinations.
We are more than your ordinary shuttle service. When you jump in our vehicles, you are getting education, you are getting place-based knowledge, you're getting Blackfeet history, and you're just getting a good conversation with some people that absolutely love this area.
But this is called yarrow, and there's so many uses for just this plant alone. We were just seeing a huge surge of people come through. What we saw is that there wasn't any rental cars available, not much for shuttle services, taxis, things like that. So we wanted to fill a gap.
Highlighting the deep connection between the Blackfeet people and the land, the service offers insights into Glacier National Park's history, culture, and natural beauty.
We are bringing who we are to our business, and we're Blackfeet, and we're proud of it. And we bring a lot of our own ideals and our own teachings and a lot of these things to our ride.
Visitors to Glacier National Park can book services with Backpackers Ferry online, and the company is quickly becoming a favorite among travelers, so much so that an expansion of services is coming up fast, including tours of the park's flora, fauna, and medicines.
We did everything throughout these mountains here. We ceremonied here. We had our stories from here. We sheltered here. We got all of our resources from here, all of our plant medicines. We wanted to include something that would showcase who we are as a people, what we do as a people for this land. So this guy right here, this guy comes from, it's an Indian paintbrush.
Experience the natural beauty and cultural significance of the park for yourself. Details about how will be on our website. On the Blackfeet Reservation in Glacier National Park, Pita Sapuaki, Brianna Juneau, MTN News.
After working with the Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, a Little Shell child's remains have been returned to the tribe. The Little Shell Tribal Council held a traditional reburial ceremony to honor the child's spirit.
Wednesday afternoon, the Little Shell tribe held a traditional reburial ceremony at Buffalo Jump State Park for the remains of a Little Shell child recently returned to the tribe from the Chicago Field Museum of Natural History.
It is believed the family of a female infant had originally laid her to rest in a tree, and her remains were stolen as an artifact, eventually making their way to the Chicago Field Museum of Natural History, where she was on display for years. After working with the museum for 4 years to culturally identify her, the Little Shell tribe held a respectful traditional burial honoring her, bringing her gifts to take with her on her journey to be accepted back into the spirit world.
One thing I knew for sure was this was someone's baby, and someone's baby doesn't deserve to be in a museum.
The decision to bury her at Buffalo State Park was due to the land holding cultural significance to many different tribes, and the area is protected as a national landmark, and her remains will not be disturbed.
We offer those gifts up to honor her and her journey back home, and honor our ancestors that are waiting for her, to show that there was a commitment and sacrifice put into allowing her to go back home. She gets to go home and be where she was meant to be this whole time.
The Little Shell Tribal Council is deeply committed to finding and repatriating ancestral remains. They will continue to work on bringing their ancestors home and making sure they are honored and respected.
That museums and private individuals that are holding these things need to return them back where they belong, because they do not belong to them, they belong to the people.
Information on the repatriation of the remains, visit our website. I'm Anissa Kumar, MTN News.
Still to come on this edition of Positively Montana, a senior project making a big impact on his school. Details when we come back.
More stories from the heart of the Treasure State are on the way when Positively Montana continues after this.
Welcome back to Positively Montana. A recent senior high graduate donated thousands of dollars to the school's special education department. It was all part of his senior project called Limitless Kids.
It might look like a work in progress now, but by the start of next school year, this room will be transformed into a multi-purpose room for special education students. It all started with a senior high student's plan to give back to his community, and now his vision is becoming a reality.
Dimitri Solieris can see the future.
We'll have a kitchen, we'll have other utilities.
By next school year, these piles of debris will be cleaned up, and the senior high classroom will become a haven.
It's going to be a full functioning kitchen, a huge space for our students to learn and grow.
A space that provides special needs students the opportunity to refine important skills like cooking, cleaning, sewing, and more.
I feel like this is going to set the bar for our classrooms throughout the district. We have a lot of students that qualify for special education, and again, just trying to provide the best service that we possibly can.
But even more impressive than the project itself is perhaps its originator.
We just kept on collecting, kept on funding, and we were able to get up to $45,000. So.
After seeing the need while walking around the halls, Solieris started Limitless Kids, a nonprofit dedicated to helping special needs people in Yellowstone County. This room was his first project.
$20,000 was kind of just thinking like, okay, let's see how this is going to go.
The original goal was to raise $20,000. On Wednesday, Salieris handed the district a check for $45,000.
It's exciting to see such a young individual take on that role and find a way to provide that opportunity for our kids.
A huge feat for Salieris, who says he's already looking forward to what his nonprofit can help with next.
This is not the end. We're Little Moose Kids Montana, and we're looking for the next step, the next big thing.
In Billings, Charlie Kleps, MTN News.
Summer is a busy time in Montana for powwows across the state, but not all families have the time, means, or knowledge to hand-make regalia. But Billings Public Schools is helping.
Powwows are a way of life for many Montana Native Americans, but the regalia can often be cost prohibitive. That's not the case, though, for Billings Public School students, thanks to a partnership that's producing handmade cultural attire. Any given powwow in Montana showcases multiple regalia styles, each matching a specific dance, each time consuming to make and costly, some ranging into the thousands.
I'm using sinew, and then we've got, you've got the front and the back.
You do a lot of detail work on this, don't you?
Yeah, each one of these have taken about 10 to 14 hours.
And now all Billings students can dress in cultural attire for powwows and presentations. A volunteer clothing designer and Billings beading shop owner Lisa Hawley with 406 Native Roots is spending her 2024 making 6 styles of regalia in 7 sizes to accommodate growing kids. That's 42 separate outfits.
These are the Angora ankle pieces, and they just kind of wrap around the ankle. Okay. Over the top of that are the bells.
Lisa even makes her own patterns and pairs her volunteer work with funding from Rocky Mountain tribal leaders to make all of this possible.
I had a lot of pride seeing the kids out there in the dance regalia that I created. I saw kids in their jingle dress and the fancy shawl outfits that I created.
Carolyn Rushi teaches those dances every Monday night during the school year at the Lincoln Center.
I am the elementary Indigenous coach, so I basically work with the 22 elementary school teachers.
Lacey and her mom Christina have browsed the regalia lookbook and checked out items.
We chose this one. It's a shawl for me.
I'm very impressed, and I'm very happy with the things that she's learned through the school district.
Lacey says the best part is learning the new dance styles and dancing with her friends.
Our cultural enrichment is a critical piece of belonging, knowing that living in Billings, we are still Indigenous and you're exactly where you belong.
In Billings, Diane Parker, MTN News.
Still to come on this edition of Positively Montana, how golf is keeping a Billings senior young at heart. His story right after the break. Welcome back to Positively Montana. He's a seasoned citizen making a difference, an avid golfer who spent decades working as a doctor. He's even written several books about his experiences.
Golf is a passion for Dr. Jim Ashcraft. You'll often find him here at Yagan Golf Club swinging away or helping others like these kids in golf camp learn the game. It's a sport he got serious about late in life at the suggestion of his brother.
He says, I know you're going to drive your wife nuts unless you find something to take up your mind. So come down and we will get you started on how to play golf.
Since then, Jim has become one of the top players in Yagan's Senior League, even got his first hole-in-one this year. But that's not all he's known for.
Jim has just been, like I said, just fantastic for the league and one of the most active and most fun guys to play with.
Very kind, very good storyteller, likes to tell stories, and is, just very, very helpful when you're playing golf as well.
Jim has written 5 books about those experiences on the golf course and working as a country doctor.
Well, I'm not an author of books. I'm a scribe. The people made the stories, and I just tell the experience from my point of view.
Growing up what he describes as poor as a church mouse on Billings South Side, he overcame the odds to become a doctor. He spent most of his career in Sidney, Montana, and has a lot of stories to tell, like the time he was called off for what he thought was to deliver a baby.
So I got there and I went to the house and no, he's out there in the barn. I said, Mary's in the barn? And here it is. They got the calf is there, and he says, you got to put your 2 feet on the butt and yank on those legs, and I'll push on this end. I said, really? He says, you're a doctor, aren't you? I said, well, yeah. You deliver babies, right? Yeah. I said, well, pull, damn it, pull.
Jim did help bring a lot of humans into the world, too.
Any idea how many babies you maybe delivered over the years?
I know exactly, 1,752.
He and his wife Kay started a foundation to offer every one of those kids a $1,000 scholarship toward college if they graduated high school with a 3.5 GPA.
They weren't, and they were just cash that we sent to the school. We didn't give them to the kid, we sent it to the school, and we gave about 900 of them.
Jim says it was his way of giving back, something he's never stopped doing. In Billings, Russ Riesinger, MTN News.
They are chainsaw carving artists putting their skills to the test, raising money to help support families struggling through child illness.
Here in the small town of Lincoln, Montana, incredible talent is on display all weekend for the second annual chainsaw carving competition, where all the money goes to a great cause.
So the structure is we bring in big logs, 7 feet by 24 to 27 inches. And that's their main masterpiece. So they'll carve for 4 days on their main masterpiece, and that'll be auctioned off on Sunday afternoon at 1.
Between carving their main pieces, the artists will have 2 90-minute sessions for quick carving, which will also go to the auction. The money raised will go towards the Sam's Hope Foundation. But who is Sam?
Sam was a very, what Marge just shared with me, just a really kind-hearted young man.
Marge and Glenn Colvey lost their son Sam to a rare cancer in 2011. Now, the Colveys do what they can to raise money to help support families struggling with child illness and cancer.
I'm sure Sam would have been honored to have been a part of this. Every penny we make goes to a family.
The town of Lincoln is tight-knit. It's only half a mile long, and it comes together to make this fundraiser possible.
The restaurants all cover the meals for the carvers while they're here. The hotel gives rooms. I mean, the whole community. When you think of Lincoln, you just think community and a lot of fun.
In its first year, the chainsaw carving competition raised about $40,000. This year, they're trying to beat that, and the 8 carvers are excited to sell their work to a great cause.
To be able to change other people's lives for the better by doing it is, yeah, it doesn't really get better than that.
Where normal people see a log, these artists see a canvas.
You know, it is an incredible high. It's like a really great natural high to be able to chase after a vision and be able to sculpt it and bring that vision into light within 2 or 3 hours. You know, if it's something small, if it's something big, 2 or 3 days.
Lincoln may only have a few thousand residents, but they are the definition of a community, working together for each other. In Lincoln, I'm Tommy Lynch, MTN News.
We hope you enjoyed this week's edition of Positively Montana. I'm Hallie Schwinnard, and we'll see you right back here next week.